Grove 2420 Henderson Place. I'm here to bring you your Bethlehem Moment tonight concerning the Portuguese heritage and adding fabric to South Bethlehem. The information I'm going to provide is compliments of the South Bethlehem Historical Society, and in particular the late Armindo Souza and Ken Rainier, who authors their newsletter. The Portuguese not only brought pride in a particular flavor to their adopted steel town in Pennsylvania, but also made vast contributions to the nation. Immigrants arriving in South Bethlehem during 1860 to 1880, 1900 to 1920, and 1940 to 1950 did so for economic reasons as regional industry expanded. The Portuguese community began to develop in the early 1900s, attracted by jobs in Bethlehem, at the steel mill, the New Jersey Zinc Company in Palmerton, and the coal mines in Ashland and Centralia. In the past, the Portuguese community has been recognized for its soccer teams and folklore groups. There are more than 2,000 Portuguese Americans living in Bethlehem alone, more than 5,000 in the Lehigh Valley. The Portuguese immigrants coming to South Bethlehem stepped off the Lehigh Valley Railroad at Union Station and were met by Portuguese leaders who found them refuge, lodgings, and employment. While many of the immigrants who settled in South Bethlehem came from regions in Portugal, many others came from Brazil, South America, who also spoke the Portuguese language. Their place of worship began in the basement of Holy Infancy Roman Catholic Church on East 4th Street. They eventually heard their own Mass on the main floor of the church. To assist Portuguese immigrants and newcomers into the South Bethlehem community, the concept of an association or club originated, an ideal place to play cards, kick a soccer ball, play music, socialize. For without a club, the Portuguese would never have retained their ethnic identity or successfully assimilated into the community. In 1928, a group of dedicated Portuguese men who were proud of their ethnicity and their new community established their first social club on East 3rd Street. It was located on a second-floor apartment house across from Bethlehem Steel's main office. They called it Portuguese Recreation. Later, the association moved to East 5th Street and was renamed the Portuguese Sporting Club. Outgrowing that space, the club relocated, this time to the basement of Pasquale Costiello's bank building on East 4th Street, the former Winch Hall. Renamed the Portugal Athletic Club, it was incorporated in 1935, the same year as the Hungarian Catholic Club. By 1941, the Portugal Athletic Club moved into their own building, located at 424 Pierce Street. Finally, the club moved to its present location at 337 Broadhead Avenue when it became the Portuguese American Club, which many people know as the PAC, P-A-C. Today it is the only Portuguese social hall in the Lehigh Valley with a following of 5,000 Portuguese Americans. The club maintains 3 soccer groups, the PAC soccer team, midgets, juniors, and seniors, 1 dramatic group, and a folklore group. It also accommodates members of the Portuguese Beneficial Society's Lodge Number 31 and Lodge Number 52 of the Portuguese Continental Union. After several generations, the Portuguese share their ethnicity with the Bethlehem community during Portuguese Heritage Day, celebrated in the 2nd week of June. Famous Portuguese in America. During the American Revolution, no soldier did more to win America's liberty than the first Portuguese patriot, Peter Francisco, 1760 to 1831. At the age of 16, there's some football teams who'd like to have a guy this big playing for him. The 6-foot 6-inch tall soldier, weighing 260 pounds, which was huge for that era, joined the Continental troops of the 10th Virginia Regiment. The so-called Virginia Giant was recommended, chosen, and honored by General George Washington to be the bodyguard for the Marquis de Lafayette. The Battle of Brandywine in 1777, Francisco and Lafayette were wounded in the battlefield and sent to the Moravian Hospital in Bethlehem, where they were treated by the Beckel family. George Washington once said that Francisco's prowess directly enabled American victories in 2 battles, further stating that the war might have been lost without his participation. Others, Jose Francisco Correa de Seda, who was a scientist. The lawyer, John Rodrigo dos Passos, was a novelist, playwright, poet, journalist, painter, and translator. He was considered one of the lost generation writers. His major work was the USA Trilogy. And finally, John Philip Sousa was best remembered for conducting his musical compositions in the late Romantic era. He was particularly known for his American military and patriotic marches.